G'day, it's Woody and we've got an absolute treat today, and that is a review of the new Bushpig 2.0. You would have seen my review video from the original Bushpig about a year and a half ago, and I'm very excited to say I've got my hands on two of the new 2.0 models. I've got the XT and the regular 20-inch version, and I'm going to run through some of the things that make this gun quite special. And I apologize if you've already watched my original review of the original model, because I'm going to repeat myself a little bit, but I'm also going to show you some of the new stuff, what's changed, and then we're going to head over to the farm and do some shooting, so stay tuned for that. Well, to start, let's just go back to basics. What is a Bushpig shotgun? Well, a Bushpig shotgun is a lever release shotgun. And what does that mean? Well, I've got some dummy rounds here so I can show you exactly how it operates. One of the standout features of this gun is the dual loading system. So, like a traditional shotgun, you can load it through the loading gate in the bottom. A lot of people have seen that, a lot of people know that. One of the things that make this pretty special is the brake feature. Not only allows you to store it a lot easier and transport it in a smaller case and that sort of thing, but the loading is that much easier. This way it gives you direct access to the tube magazine. This is also a great way to unload it as well. So rather than having to cycle every round through the chamber, you can break the action and push the magazine release button and it will spit all the loads out. With the full magazine tube, if I were to push the magazine button there, all the rounds would come out in a big fountain. So I just take the pressure off with my finger on the back of the shotgun shell and I just tap the button and pull them out one by one. To load it, pull the bolt back. A shell will automatically sit on the loading ramp and you push the release button, which is right here at the pistol grip. Very ergonomic, very easy to operate. And that's loaded a shell into the chamber. When you pull the trigger, the gas will automatically cycle the bolt back and eject the spent round. And it's loaded the next one on. And so all you have to do to get ready to fire again, push the release button, and then you're ready to pull the trigger again. That's now empty. It'll stay open. I've pushed the lever, nothing's happened because there's an empty magazine. And that's the basics of how a Bushpig lever release shotgun operates. But stay tuned because we're going to be heading to the farm soon and we'll do some actual shooting. Now let's tuck into some of the upgrades on the 2.0 model, starting with the case. They now come standard with this Axor Arms hard case. And this is a laser cut foam case with 4 really strong buckles all the way down. This has room for your shotgun in its folded position. It has room for your case of spare chokes, and it has room for any other accessories or spare parts that you might carry around with your shotgun. On the gun itself, one of the more noticeable features is the new sights. They've gone to a Glock-style sight, which means you can customize that and change it over to the sort of sights that suit your shooting style. So I can imagine swapping these over to some true glow night sights and have some glow in the dark sights and that sort of thing. But the sky's the limit, so you can change out the front sight and the rear sight. I do rather enjoy the fiber optic sight that it's come with, but I may modify that down the road. Another notable feature is this removable section in front of the accessory rail. That's removable, and underneath there is a pistol RMS C style footprint, which will allow you to direct mount your optic of choice. And it wouldn't be a Woody Outdoors video without some red dot mounting or some optics and that sort of thing. So I've got some plans for these guns, which we're going to cut into in just a minute. They've beefed up the receiver design to make it even more hardcore and heavy duty. In this, they've actually beefed up the piston as well, and they've actually completed all of their testing in this model with the 42 loads. That is some pretty heavy duty. It's considered super duty loads. Well, what does that mean for your lighter loads? So all the shotguns are going to ship with the heavier piston, which for a hunting shotgun is obviously the more appropriate choice. But if you are needing to use lighter loads like target shot and bird shot, you can get a lighter piston and you can change that over, and it's an easy job. And I'm actually going to do that on the 20-inch model behind me. Well, I've done about as much talking as I want to do here in the studio, so now I'm going to get some optics mounted on these guns. I'm going to change over to the lighter piston on this 20-inch model so I can trial it cycling the lighter loads on this model, and I'm going to leave the heavy piston in the XT, and I'm going to shoot some buckshot and slugs and that sort of thing through there. So let's cut into it now.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my cloth, they tugging it. Putting up numbers, 99 problems, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my cloth, they tugging it. Putting up numbers, 99 problems, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, who don't play, 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 play. Who don't play, 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 play. Who don't play, 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 play. Who don't play, play, play.
Made it onto the range. It is a bit damp, but good thing we got the awning out. We're here with both Bushpig shotguns. So I've got the 20, which if you remember, I put the lighter piston in. So we're going to be running the lighter loads, like the target shot, which is a 28. And I've got the Bushpig XT, which I'm going to be running the more heavier hunting loads. These are 34s, and that's a 3.9mm HP 34. So that's definitely more hunting range. Running through that thing, the lighter loads running through that thing. I've got the ZeroTech micro reflex red dot and the ZeroTech trace halo enclosed reflex red dot on the XT. So I'm going to get those dialed in right now, and then we'll get into some shooting, which is my favorite part. Now, something important to remember before running something like rifled slugs is to obviously check what choke you have on the end of the barrel. I can never remember, so I've downloaded a chart onto my phone to remember what the different notches mean. So for rifled slugs, you should be running cylinder or cylinder improved, which are the two most open types of chokes. This has 3 notches on it, and if I refer to my guide, that tells me that is a modified choke, which is not suitable for rifled slugs. So I'm going to change over to the cylinder improved choke, and that's made easy with the included kit. So this came with the shotguns as a tool, and obviously all the different chokes that are available to put in it. So I'm going to change that over now. I have no idea how this is going to go, but I really want to give you the like POV almost shot, so you can see how the empty shells and stuff eject out of the breech. I've concocted this little filming rig that can hold my phone, and I'm going to attempt now to mount it to the front pick rail on the front of the XT and then fire some rounds, and let's just see if it can hold on. This thing is so easy to load. So like a traditional shotgun, you can just start dumping them through the loading gate in the bottom. But I'm loving the fold feature, which gives me direct access to the magazine tube, and I can just start dumping them in. That's 3, 4, and 5. And of course I can chamber one and top it back up immediately. I've also got the spare round holder on the buttstock, the adjustable cheek riser. I kind of like it in like a lower part anyway when I'm using the optics. I don't have particularly high cheekbones anyway, so I just like it the way it is. This gun is a pleasure to shoot. I am cycling. I started in using the rifled slugs, and that was easy. And then I'm just using the HP 34 hunting loads, which is the 3.9mm ball. Yeah, no complaints with the cycling so far. I haven't had any malfunctions. The way that the advantage of a lever release shotgun over something like a straight pull is not having to remove your hands from the firing position to chamber the next round. So everyone knows a straight pull, you fire a shot, take your hand away, rack the bolt, put it back on, acquire your target and fire a shot. I can stay on target the whole time with my hands in their firing position. The safety is easy to operate, it's just your standard cross bolt safety. This is just a gun that just functions really well and it just works. Easy as that. Oh well, I've dumped just shy of a whole box of the HV34 through the Bushpig XT, and I'm pleased to say there were 0 malfunctions. It's super fun to shoot. It was starting to get a wee bit warm. Good thing is the XT comes with this heat guard, so when I wasn't, being super careful with, where I was touching the gun on the barrel, I put my hand on there, I could feel the heat coming through the holes, but I didn't scald myself at all. The action cycled really, really well. I sort of fired it as, rapidly as I was comfortable to do, and I couldn't induce a malfunction. The loading works great. I loaded both through the bottom gate. I loaded by breaking the action and loading the magazine tube directly. Yeah, it's working really well. I've got no complaints. Now, I'm going to move on to the 20. As I've mentioned, I've set it up with the piston designed for the lighter loads. So I've got these 28 gram target shot TT. So I will load her up with some of these and I'll probably fire a few magazine loads and then come back to you with how that is going. Sandwich time while there's some passing showers. The new Bushpig models function really well. Very similar to the original model. I really like, rather than trying to make one shotgun work for every load of shell, how they'll all ship with the heavier piston for hunting, because it's a hunting shotgun. But the fact that you can order the lighter piston if you want to run light loads through it is, I haven't seen any other shotgun brands offering that. And so you'll really be able to configure your shotgun to suit the kind of work that you're doing, which I think is really cool. Alright, I've got this loaded up with the Fiocchi TT target shot ammo. This is the lighter load to suit the lighter piston that I've installed in this gun. Let's see how it cycles. I've paired this with the ZeroTech 3 MOA micro reflex red dot, which that's just the perfect form for this gun, eh? That is awesome. Let's start firing. Spits those out quite nicely. Flawless. Not a single problem with that at all. Let's get a few more magazine tubes through it and see how we go. Well, with almost a whole box of TT target shot through the 20 and a whole box of HP 34s through the XT, I think it's time for some final thoughts. This is an extremely practical shotgun. This is a hunting shotgun, and that's obviously why they've paired it with the heavier piston, is to cycle these hunting loads reliably and effectively. But the fact that I can get the lighter piston for the target loads and, you know, bird shot if you're into bird hunting and that sort of thing, is really cool. So we've got two extremely reliable and practical shotguns that I've configured for two different jobs. Pairing it with the red dot optics is sick. If you follow this channel for any length of time, you know I like to put a red dot on pretty much anything. But I really like that it can sit low with that removable section of rail with the inbuilt RMS footprint. Fitting the micro and the halo onto these models was easy as. It's super cool. I've got them zeroed in like 3 shots, which is cool. I zeroed them in with the rifled slugs. Not only are they just a really practical shotgun, but they're fun to shoot. I think anything that functions really well is fun. You know, it's a pleasure. It's good to work with equipment that actually works, and these are built to work clearly. If you're looking to get your hands on one of these, you can find your local dealer at tsaoutdoors.com.au. These are a Category A bolt action here in Queensland, so if you're one of the million Queenslanders that bought Adler straight pulls and that sort of thing, you could like for one of these without having to apply for a new PTA and swap your straight pull out for the lever release Bushpig 2.0. Well, that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any questions about the Bushpig 2.0, please drop it into the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. See you on the next one.